also another piece of news that surfaced on top of the robot modes of all the Diatlas stuff and everything with big powered. There was a piece of War for Cybertron Siege character art that surfaced, and it was, there was a lot of people going like, who is this character? What does he relate to? Some people thinking it might not even be related to the toy line. It might be related to some future cell phone stuff. The speculation continues even to this moment, although from what I assume it might be is it might be one of the, because we had a listing for one of the Battle Masters that turns into a hammer.
Okay.
And we never really saw any images of it or anything. It could be that character. It could be also potentially, and this is just me like looking at the body detail and the colors and everything. It could also potentially be one of the MicroMasters, like a future MicroMaster release. And there's only really two like if it's one of the Battle Masters, and if we're gonna have to base it on a character or something that's like pre-existing, I'm just kind of like looking at his colors and I'm looking at like his chest shape. There was a Power Master, specifically a God Master though, from Master Force called Bullet, and he had like the blues and the reds, and he kind of had the visor and the chest detail like that. He was a very very obscure character from Master Force, but he kind of reminds me of him. But if it is one of the MicroMasters, there's something that looks very similar to this design, especially the chest area and everything. And I'm going to post some images, obviously in the segment. There is a MicroMaster combiner character. There were two combiners that went together. It was Full Barrel and Overflow. Full Barrel and Overflow, which were the MicroMaster combiner Autobot Battlefield headquarters. They literally transformed into like a combiner Optimus Prime. Now the thing is that Full Barrel was the front of the truck, which was like the Optimus Prime part,
right?
And Overflow was the back of the truck, which we'll just call it the roller part. And the more I look at it, because I look at Overflow. I look at Overflow and I look at his robot mode, the original G1 toy. I look at his sculpted, the limited sculpted body he had, the colors that were used, and it looks similar to this guy here. You know what I mean? Even like the little circle that he has on his chest,
right?
It could also be that MicroMaster screw hole. You know what I mean? That every MicroMaster has in their center. But this is just pure speculation. It's just me kind of going like who this could be. Due to the simplicity of his shoulders and everything, it also reminds me of a MicroMaster, like again from the art. So it's could potentially be Overflow.
Okay, I see what you mean. I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah, like it's just if you look at the chest, if you look at like I could be wrong. And in all honesty, I feel more so that I probably am wrong. It's just because there's nothing really that rings a bell with me right now. And this could be something that we'll see later on, and then they'll flesh it out more. I mean, when I first looked at it too, I'm like, oh, this could also be a different interpretation of Braver from Transformers Victory. But it obviously isn't Braver, because that's a whole other kind of character and price point and everything. Be a deluxe, and it would probably be a car. This is a color scheme that's also very similar to that of Mainframe, which was one of the Action Masters that really didn't have an alt mode. Right. So there's a lot of Transformers that share a similar kind of reddish with the bluish, and again, it's like a purplish blue. It's kind of a maroonish red. But again,
when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I could see it be repainted into maybe a shafter.
Yeah, well, that's just it.
Just to be something silly, but I mean,
it's something,
I kind of doubt that would happen.
It's something that if it didn't have those maroonish shoulders and everything, and it was all primarily blue, and it had, it's something that's more of a pipes, if anything, so, or a huffer in an orange. Be. Yeah, so it's just right now it's the word is not out yet what this is. Just a little quick speculation.
He looks cool though. I dig how the helmet looks and everything like that. I'm digging. I'm hoping that the actual figure, if this is based off of a figure, will be that articulated.
Yeah, well, that's something.
That's what I'm hoping.
I'm not making any promises with that one. But it's something that definitely I'm curious what other people think, because I know that a lot of people have seen this, but no one really has chimed in their own opinions. And so I pretty much just went through my own. I was pretty much staring at my collection and going through my own archives, just trying to go, well, he kind of looks like him, and he kind of looks like him. And then my final conclusion was really, if I had to like pinpoint one, it's like either it's Overflow or it's one of these, one of the Godmaster individual engines and stuff. Which again, it's just me looking at my Masterforce display and stuff. But either way, like, let us know what you think. Maybe I'm missing something here. But we'll definitely, when we find out more, you know where to hear it, right here.